A while ago, I checked out Galactic Contention, an insane mod for Squad that basically turns the game into the tactical Star Wars game of your dreams. And I've been playing the Unreal Engine 5 update for this mod for the last few days, and it's insane. The enhanced lighting and effects from this engine upgrade also applies to the mod, and it just makes every map feel so much more realistic, while also giving the mod an overall enhanced sense of style that makes it stand out even more from the base game. The new update also contains some new vehicles, new factions, even better sound effects, commander role voting, reworked map layouts for improved balance, and more. Now, to be clear, this update is more about just getting the mod working with Squad's latest engine update than it is about adding tons of new features. So if you were playing Galactic Contention before the update went live, well, the gameplay is gonna feel very similar, just look way better. And in a lot of ways, the bump in presentation has pushed the mod much closer to something that feels like an actual licensed Star Wars game. It's also kind of crazy how popular this mod is. On launch night, the server browser was basically a wall of servers for this mod, and days later, there's still dozens of servers for it, many with queues of over 10 players. Now, as a Star Wars fan, Galactic Contention offers a real sense of just being in Star Wars places. It kind of activates this mega nerdy nostalgia in my brain. Storming the deserts of Geonosis or flanking through the ruins of Yavin 4 was all I ever wanted to do in a video game when I was a kid, and frankly it translates pretty well to an adult as well. That said, Galactic Contention isn't just nostalgia bait. The game is very competently designed, and it takes all the best elements of Squad and puts them into the Star Wars universe. Vehicles play a vital role in transporting troops to objectives, while also ferrying supplies and ammo to newly taken objectives. The classes are all designed with specific loadouts that suit their role. Squad management is critical to coordinating attacks and defense, and many players are very vocal on comms with highly useful callouts. And I think if you're a fan of Squad, Galactic Contention will feel right at home. Just a less serious, hardcore version since, you know, you're playing as clankers. And one of the things that really sets Galactic Contention apart from, you know, a comparable game like, say, Battlefront is just the sense of scale. It's so impressive in this mod. Many of the maps feature massive battle cruisers or capital ships around deployments, and they're so huge that they practically dominate the view. For several matches, I picked the jet trooper role and I just flew around the maps taking in the views. I still felt like a bit of a bug in a zoo, like I'm base jumping off of cliffs hundreds of feet in the air, and then I look out and there's just kilometers of map to explore, dotted with crashed vehicles and huge ships looming in the distance. And another really impressive aspect of this mod is the insane variety of Star Wars content that it delivers. One minute you're fighting across micro islands in a tropical region. The next you're storming a city planet blanketed in snow. Some environments are certainly more fleshed out than others, but across the board it's clear that years of work has gone into everything. Now, as I said before, I have played this mod in the past, but re-exploring everything in the UE5 update is just awesome. The old version of the mod kind of felt like the devs were really locked into certain lighting and weather effects that just didn't really suit the maps that they were using them for. It's not that they looked bad or anything, but across the board the mod had a very flat look to it, and its lighting came in varying shades of cloudy or not cloudy. In this update, every map has its own lighting scenario and identity that makes it stand out, while also lit with a just more impressive lighting engine. One match I'd be storming a desert on a speeder bike with an arid yellow atmosphere that made it feel like my eyes were drying out. The next I'd be wading through waist-deep water in a rainstorm. It's the kind of variety in lighting and atmosphere that just previous versions of the mod didn't seem to offer, and I'm really impressed with the end result. And it complements the already fun gameplay even better. One match I started off gunning in a troop transport ship and we shot down multiple HMPs, basically keeping them from deploying in the objectives against our infantry forces. It's such an epic feeling mowing down enemy ships in Galactic Contention compared to just even vanilla squad experiences in many ways. You're not just blasting each other with bullets, you're shooting laser beams across an alien environment. Another match, my team was trying to take objectives in a massive burned down forest, and the artillery raining down into the points was just insane looking. There was nowhere to hide, and storming the objective as the final blast landed was an absolute rush. Until, of course, we got absolutely obliterated by another set of enemy forces. I even had a match on Kashyyyk where my team overcommitted and drove all of our vehicles to the first objective, only to lose them all, forcing us to engage in some classic woodland guerrilla warfare to reclaim that territory. And I actually managed to rescue one of our lodges and drive it through a whole squad of clankers to get it back to our base. Now, all that said, the gameplay is still stuck in mod land to some respects. Balance in general seems a bit hit or miss. Everything dies very quickly, which is similar to Squad, but classes like the Jet Trooper just give you such an insane advantage in some fights, and it does feel borderline unfair. My squad could get locked down in a kill box, and I just jetpack to higher ground and rain down support fire from a rooftop. Obviously, if there's air vehicles flying around, then rooftops aren't necessarily where you want to be, but it was just such an effective strategy that most players didn't seem to anticipate, and I struggled to be as effective with other classes. Now, the map voting feature does give the community a lot of control over what maps and modes you're going to play, but it can be a bit of a double-edged sword. On one hand, certain maps and factions just don't play as well as others, so it can be nice to avoid those. And there's a lot of experienced players that know this, and they will avoid playing the lesser balanced modes regularly. But that also tends to rob newer players of the experience and the variety of what this mod offers. It doesn't really let them play the lesser balanced modes just to figure out what they are. There's also some carryover mechanics from Squad that I don't think work as well in a Star Wars game. For example, it can be really hard to tell if my shots are hitting the target, something that feels very appropriate for Squad's more realistic approach, but in a Star Wars game, it just feels kind of off. And given the amount of crazy effects and chaos that happens during combat, it can be really hard to tell if you're even aiming correctly or you're taking down your targets. I think a little bit extra work could be done here. Now, criticism aside, I'm still just blown away by what this mod has achieved. The fact that it offers all of this, plus the enhanced visuals of Squad's UE5 update, is just so impressive. I also feel like this update marks the start of a new era for Galactic Contention. They apparently have several more vehicles in the works, like the ATXT and the Mega Turbo Tank, which is maybe one of the coolest clone tanks in the entire franchise. There's also new modes and map updates in the works. The future seems quite bright for this mod, and I think the renewed interest in it thanks to this update could be very inspirational for both the community and devs. The servers are full and everyone seems to be having a great time. I highly recommend checking out this mod if you own Squad, and heck, if you don't own Squad, this is an excellent reason to pick it up and try out the modding scene. Let me know in the comments if you've played this and what you think about it. Up next, check out this mod for Duke Nukem 3D that basically adds ray tracing to it. It's a blast to see how you can update old games to just look way better and be way more playable. I think you guys will enjoy it. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.